Look at all the amazing people in here. This happens every week in this basement.
Gotcha.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to pull off another one.
All right. This is going to be fun tonight, guys. Hey, Daniel.
Hi. At least as long as you don't poke me with that pencil.
Oh, you need a pencil? You need to fight back.
Yeah. It's dangerous over here.
This is why this is the best hobby in the world, guys. It's because of people just like you. All right, Richard's running camera. Hey, Richard.
How you doing?
It's nice to have Daniel. We have Joseph down here tonight.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Joseph.
How you doing?
Joey.
How you doing?
How you doing? That's right.
Joey.
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. Give us a countdown, Richard, and let's have some fun tonight for number 236.
2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. And by GL Robotics, with over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock. Your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 236 for June 3rd, 2023. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And oh my gosh, the numbers we're receiving on those videos. Thank you for all the folks that are enjoying the building of these layouts that we have been presenting on that show. I know you guys love it when we get our hands dirty and build stuff, as opposed to, the layout interviews are good, the drone footages are good, but there's something about building some stuff that people love.
Yes.
Everybody loves learning.
Tonight we've got a lot of wonderful people on the set. Starting on this side over here, I've got Mike Buddy.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Mike, welcome back. I heard you went on a field trip to Colorado. I can't wait to hear about that. Mm-hmm. Sitting right next to me, I've got Campbell Rice. I think he's got a major announcement. How are you, Campbell?
I'm great. Good to be back in St. Louis for a weekend.
Awesome. Sitting right next to Campbell, I've got Joseph Gento.
Hey, everyone.
Gento.
How are you?
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Yes,
That's right.
Gento.
You did.
Rock and roll.
Right.
You're Italian, and I love that name. Sitting right next to Joey, we've got Daniel Coombs, our favorite youth in the hobby who grew up on us.
Yeah.
Yes. But that Boy Scout clip will run forever.
Remind me of that.
In the news, we've got the Spring Creek Show coming up in Desdler, Nebraska on July 8th and 9th. This year, that's the semi-annual show that the family runs out there to promote this hobby. I've been to it. In fact, we shot a show at it once live, and you guys can see that on our YouTube site. It came out really nice. But what a nice group of people. It's an intimate show in that you get the chance to talk to the manufacturers at this show with not very many distractions. And Desdler, Nebraska is a beautiful little town. Mm-hmm. It really is.
I was
so
just
check
there
it out.
2 weeks ago.
You were?
I was there 2 weeks ago and got to see everybody and bought a few things, spent a little more than I planned to, but you can't walk in there.
That always happens.
Walk in there with a budget of this and you come out with this much, Gosh, there's just so much stuff there. It's incredible. It's just
you can never have enough
Dave
trains.
Is a great person.
That's right.
Yeah, they're all just fantastic
Dave's
people.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Deb is just awesome.
And they love what they do,
Right.
Sure.
And it shows.
We got a lot of neat models on the table tonight, and I think we're going to start launching right away into talking about what we have going on here. I don't have any B-roll of this, Richard, so you might have to shoot some of this tight as Mike starts to describe what he brought tonight. Hey, Mike.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, Josh and I just took a spur-of-the-moment trip out to Denver and took a ride on the Georgetown Loop Railroad.
Nice.
And James was out there too. James flew out there, and I originally told James I wasn't going to go because I didn't want to fly, but then Josh said, hey, let's do it. So it was a pretty cool trip, marathon trip out there and back, and we had stayed in a couple of pretty cool places, and it was a good time. While we were there, we went to Rocky Mountain Train Supply, which is a hobby shop in Denver. And like you were saying, I wasn't planning on buying anything. I just wanted to see the store. But
Then he got walking with
I saw these two tangent
help
hikers, you know, and
those.
yeah, I couldn't resist them. They're both cars I used to see all the time growing up, and so these are the two tangent ones, and this one comes faded. The original cars came a little darker than this. This one looks like it's starting to fade, but then this is the way I remember seeing them a lot, was pink like that. So that's actually how I did that car. I started off just by spraying it pink, so I didn't have to figure out how to fade it.
It's so cool.
Right?
It really is.
So, and then it's oil paint weathering. Now, I did these like 20 years ago, so it's not like I'm real productive or anything, but
And they look 20 years old.
yeah, right. Well,
They
that's
serve us
just
a
about
while.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, because my era is 78, so yeah, they'd be like 20, 23 years old. But so anyway, then the Frisco cars, these were cars that Joe Steinman, our old guy that used to be into trains, now he's into helicopters, but he's a
Oh, he just flew by the other day.
yeah, he told me he
Yeah,
was
he
going to
did.
do that.
He called up Holly and I and said, hey, I'm going to be in the backyard in a half an hour.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I did videotape it. Didn't get
Cool.
great video because,
Yeah.
well, what was really cool was the moon was out and he flew right past the moon, and I did get that
Oh,
clip.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, Joe's got this, I don't know, the orange helicopter is what he was flying.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, I'm not sure if he's actually flying them yet, or if he's just. I know he's got a buddy that flies, and they're doing that now. So that's, you know, more power to him. I just hope
That's
they don't
way
take it
too
too
expensive
far.
a
Like
hobby.
Joe, yeah, right. A little dangerous to me. Joe likes to push it to the limits in everything he does. You
he
know.
does.
This is nuts. Is
He's-
one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of that,
Yeah, right. And now those two fire apparati on the up front there are both PCX 87 models, which I think they're affiliated with Burkina. But I brought that, what is it, Ferrara.
Ferrara.
Yeah, right.
Ferrara, yeah.
Which I brought that a few weeks ago and
That's
showed it, but
this one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
The latter.
But I brought it back because I wanted to let Campbell look at them. And then that other one, Bob just sent me, Bob Johnson from Masterbuilt Models. It's Seagrave Marauder. And I think these are both real modern,
They are.
modern
Yeah.
equipment.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And
What
so-
year would that be? What era would that be?
It's current.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Farrar is still manufacturing in Louisiana, and so is Seagraves both. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
you know where you need to send them next now, don't you?
where's that? Oh, to the light. East Coast Circuits.
Go
Yeah.
circuits. and
Right.
Yeah,
Lights put on
Neil
them.
Maltz
Yeah.
would go nuts on those, but
Oh,
I think
I'm
he's
sure
got to
he's-
buy between 200 and 500 at a time or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he's already working on a bunch of those. You know, those have been out for a while. When I had him do those police
Beautiful,
cars,
yeah.
I talked to him at the RPM in July, and he was booked until January.
oh wow.
So I finally got him in December. They were actually done a little early, but man, it's worth the wait.
The prototype police cars are beautiful. I saw one this week. Landon and I were out, and you know, it's like, oh, somebody's having a bad day. But look at how beautiful that car is, because the running boards, the rear windows, the
Yeah.
front windows,
Oh,
it was
everything.
exactly what Neil does to these vehicles.
does.
Yeah.
And to see it in person,
Right.
I mean, now, I mean, they're so pretty. It's a pleasure to get pulled over.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
All right, never mind.
All right, you need police in St. Louis. White Expedition.
Thank you for your service. That's all you can say.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
I haven't heard anybody say it's a pleasure to be pulled over.
Wow.
Right.
Unless you know somebody.
Made you laugh.
Yeah.
You did. That's for sure.
All right.
All right.
So, anyway, yeah, Joey brought some pretty cool stuff here. I'll let him talk about this. And
I get to talk?
yeah,
Yeah, you
go
get
for
to
it.
I may
What
talk a
you
lot of
brought.
Italian.
Move this back
But
a
that's
little
okay.
bit.
Well, first, thank
floor
you.
is yours.
Your hands into your place, though.
Right.
So I know you're
Yeah.
Italian, and it's
Well, first, thank you for everybody having me here.
I
Thank
need to
you
know
so
you're
much.
coming,
This is
man.
Yeah, me
this is
neither. It was like a
surreal. It
surprise.
really is. It's surreal because I've been following this show since you very first started, back what 2016, 2017 is when I really started getting into this, and ever since then it has went every show. Haven't missed a show yet.
Wow.
And you talked about side hustling and side business and model railroading. In 2017, I started Touch of the Brush model weathering. And so now here I am doing NMRA clinic in person in Dallas.
Nice.
And it's only been 5 years I have been doing this. And so, well, now 6 years. Oh my gosh, it is 6 years. Look at that.
Yeah.
So the way it started was that I had a couple of good friends who just wanted stuff weathered. I was like, I'm a touring drummer out of Nashville. I need a little side money here.
Okay.
So that's when I started the business. And they're like, well, you do some nice stuff. Here's some money. Cool, right?
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And my friend Darius from there, he said, well, make it a business. You can do this. This will be great for you. Sure. And here we are. And so right here I have a scale train -9 BNSF locomotive. This is from my first client. And
That's beautiful.
it has... This is my first time actually doing a toaster blown turbo locomotive.
Wow.
And
That
it
thing
has...
is fire, man. That's hot.
I
That's
appreciate
nice.
that. Thank you.
It is awesome.
And Scale Trains featured it on their Facebook page. I had a few others, Michael Mark and others, that featured it on their page. And so this has been my favorite. My friend was going to sell it to somebody else, and I said, that's coming back to me. I did the work. That's my collection now, and my collection. And so here we are. Now it's in my collection, and it's on my shelf in my studio room.
Perfect.
Here is a Southland GP38. If anybody remembers the movie End of the Line with Lee Von Helm,
Wilford Brimley and Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did my best to feature, or at least the best I can do to create the prototype for 2377. I do have a beacon somewhere. There's a police beacon that's in the box. I don't know what happened to it. It's not with me right now, but I did have a police beacon on top of the hood because they crashed through a police car.
Yeah.
And I do have a diorama of the police car being smashed by the locomotive, which I'll show you
That's
guys
pretty
later.
cool.
Yeah, so that was one of my favorite projects. Here's something else. Now, when I do weathering, I use mostly dry brushing, acrylic paints, gouache, watercolors. I have had a lot of mentors show me all different things, and for me, that was my most comfortable way to weather. Is not using airbrush, was dry brushing. But here's a cross between airbrushing and dry brushing on that UP reefer. And if you can look at the wheels here,
Now, when you say dry brushing, are you talking about chalks,
no,
acrylics?
acrylic paint
paint.
and just dry it enough
Okay.
to where it's just enough
Right.
on the brush, and a little bit of weathering powders. That's it. That's all I did there. And even went further into the model with the detailing and made it look like it had brand new trucks and brand new wheels on it. If you could look closely onto that.
Yep.
truck there.
Blue axle end caps there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so here, now if you have plastic wheels, I don't know if anybody has plastic wheels anymore, or if you have plastic wheels and you want to create a junk load, here's something here that you can create, and that's it. And that's all it is.
Cool.
I cut all the wheels off, add a little bit of camouflage brown paint,
Yeah.
which I've learned from you,
From
by the way.
Rust-Oleum, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that is
absolutely.
good
It
stuff.
replaces local roof brown.
Right.
Yes, it does. And you use a little bit of rust powders, brown powders, black powders, and that's it. You got a junk load. It's that simple. And here is a model of a Bory Limited Imports H10 Pennsylvania Railroad steam locomotive. By the way, that
Can I
last
touch
show
it?
you did. Yes, you can.
All right, this is Broadway Limited, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Now, my friend Darius passed away last year, and his whole family entrusted me with his entire collection, and I weathered all of his steam locomotives. And so I'm really honored to have it now in my collection. And this is one of my favorite steam engines. It was one of the last ones I weathered for him before he passed away, so I had to bring it here to show it off.
Yeah. For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You do some great work.
Nice.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
work.
Now, Joey, when you're talking about dry brushing, do you use like a soft brush and go like along the side, or do you dab it on there, or you go vertical streaks? What do you do?
So what I do is a little piece of paper, like printing paper. I take whatever the color is,
Yeah.
just wipe enough of it off so
Right,
it's not too wet.
right.
So it becomes like a chalk. And then you dab a little bit here
So
at
you
a time.
you dab it more than
Yes.
I used to take it before I learned other things. I would take a dry brush and run along the bottom real fast, and to build up like a dust and stuff. And
Yes.
it looks pretty decent, sometimes different techniques like that.
So many different techniques of weathering. Everybody has their own way of doing it, and the thing is, they all seem to come out and look great.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It's everybody's different techniques. Some use oil, some use acrylics, and some use powders, and some use airbrushes, some don't.
Or all the above.
Or all
which
the
I
above,
do
which
too.
is kind of like
Yeah,
I
me
do
too.
all
Get
of
started
that.
into that.
So
Now, what would you guys
enjoy
say is a
weathering.
good canvas to start off with? Now, I had already weathered some models I previously showed on the show. However, I did cheat with the graffiti, use some pre-printed decals
Yeah.
from Weathering Solutions and also
Wow.
CMR products, but of course, making my own graffiti. Now, how would I go about that? Paint marker, permanent marker? What would you guys think?
Both. I use paint
do
markers and permanent markers.
All right.
I think
Sharpies.
I heard you start out with a white base wherever you want the graffiti, paint it white.
It's like a
That way
background?
your colors will, be a lot more.
Make sure you seal your models first
Right.
before
Yes,
you start
yes.
any kind of weathering.
Dull coat, right?
Dull coat, yes. Or if you're using decals, clear coat.
Yep.
Something that's a little gloss based. And then go to town.
All right.
Yeah.
When I first started doing weather myself, I went to a friend of mine. We went to a model train show, and I picked up all these Tyco cars. And he's like, "What in the world are you going to do with those things?" I said, "This is where you start your weathering projects.
You're
you know,
ruining a
when you
$2
make
car
your
versus a
Tyco
$50
look
car."
Good,
Yes.
then
Yep.
you can move on to your more expensive cars.
That's right.
Don't start on your expensive cars or expensive engines. Start on the cheap stuff,
Right.
and practice on that before you do that. That's a Tyco car, and start with your graffiti on that before you mess up a good car.
Yeah. That's why I just initially bought the decals, because I had some Acurail
Yeah.
covered hoppers that I had
Right.
done.
Yeah.
Right.
That I was actually given, so it's not like I bought them, but I don't know if they were like high dollar way back in the day or whatever, but they're
But
like,
just be careful when you're putting the decals on, because they'll kind of stand out. So what I'll do
Yes.
sometime is I'll put the decal on and weather around it and dull coat it real good so that it looks like it's a graffiti that's been on there a while.
yeah,
So it's not like jumping out at you and you can see
Right.
it's
Like
a
fresh.
decal. Yeah.
gotcha.
Or you can use a little bit dry weathering or a little bit of white powder and look like it's faded like it's old graffiti.
Yeah.
Or a little bit of rust over it. So if you want to hide a little bit of the seams of the decal, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
There's so many little tricks you can do to hide it. It's like movie magic, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Neat.
I got a box in the mail today from England that I didn't expect. And the box is pretty on it. It says Jennifer Kirk. It's for her YouTube channel. And this must
Okay.
be one of her latest freight cars that she saw us giving away those box cars or selling those box cars that said, what's neat this week on them?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Right behind Mike
Yep,
there.
right behind Mike.
Yeah.
One of them.
One of them. Yep.
How about that? So she sent me this, and I actually briefly looked at it, and it's a little wagon, an ore wagon, I guess. I'll put it on the table so Richard can shoot it. But this is Jenny's latest to promote her Tuesday morning club, or is it the Monday morning club? Is that her show
Yeah.
Yes.
Think
that
it's
she
Monday
likes to
morning.
do,
Wow,
that live
that's
show?
nice.
Yep.
And everything's written on here about this little cute Pal Brick B wagon is what they call it. William Loud and Sons. So thank you, Jennifer, for sending this to us. We wish you all the best with your sales for this car to promote your show. We do love what you do for the hobby. She's a great gal. Also, Greg Summerlin called me this week. He's got some new 3D printers on his website at glroboticsusa.com. These printers, these 3D printers, I mean, between the resin printers and the filament printers, they are just all the rage in our hobby now. So much stuff is being produced look at what James Regier has done. He has really advanced in that part of the hobby. Unfortunately, I haven't. I've got that Photon Phantom printer down here. We started out with the Dremel Idea Builder back in 2015. But with my production time and what I do, I don't really have time to sit down and do it, but to see James and what he comes up with on that machine. So be sure to check it out. Greg Summerland at glroboticsusa.com. Best customer service in the industry, in the fact that you might need help setting it up or have questions. He's there for you on the other end of the phone anytime you need him. And I just wanted to bring that up and mention it. And I don't know where I'm going after that, but probably to Campbell Rice, because you've got something cool to talk about.
Sure. Let's have a flashback. Do you remember several shows ago, I believe it's 166, where we were on here and the cicada sound came from under the table and everybody thought it was a bug and
Just
everything.
like thinking, where is that part?
yeah.
And you was like, we're going to get that critter out of here tonight.
I said, yeah, we're getting him out of this basement.
Well, so what it was a release from Iowa Scale Engineering. They
Okay.
have the cicada and they have crossing bells. Well, breaking news, they've now come out with the squealer. And no, it's not a pig. But that's what they call it. They call it the squealer. And what it is, it's the flange squeal as a train that goes around a curve. So I've got some B-roll here of actually what you're seeing is on my layout here. The sensor here goes right in between the rails. It goes a certain way. And as the train comes across it, it gives it that flange squeal. And it's very simple to hook up. I've actually got the unit here. So it's just a board. This is all it comes on is a board and your little cube speaker. And then it has a sensor here that senses motion. So as motion runs across it, it may not work here because I've got, I've got my, I don't have it, okay, I don't know what went wrong. It doesn't do very good like this, but once you get it in your layout, it does work quite well. And I'm impressed. But so what they're doing is they're actually going to introduce this at the St. Louis RPM show. That's where they're going to be introduced. They're going to have them for sale there. So if you want one of these things, be sure you come to St. Louis RPM show and pick them up because I imagine they're going to go quick.
Yeah, probably.
Nice. Denny Yelsma called me up this week and said that he just ordered all the hats that we're going to be giving out at that RPM show on July 28th and 29th. And that's coming up here fast. I know that is. Somehow I've got to get the Garden Railroad running, and it hasn't run since the last RPM show. Because I'm really not into garden railroading that much anymore. It's just more or less a process of cutting the grass and mowing it and keeping it in relatively good shape. But the deer have trampled a couple parts of it, so we've got 2 sections of 6-foot areas that need to be replaced out there. But here comes the RPM show. Hey, it's working.
Yeah, it's working now. But like I said, it senses motion, but it doesn't work as good with my hand as if I had it in a rail car. But
There you go.
But it is really it is really good.
Yeah.
As you can tell by the video, it's pretty impressive. So
I would say setting it on like any kind of tight curves or any kind of like mountain
Yeah.
scene. I want to
Right.
picture in my head John Parker's BNSF layout and think about all the kind of the steep curves he's got around his, even though I haven't been there, but I know you've been there before doing the What's Neat. And to think about those cars just having that squealing noise just going around like 35, 40 cars long of a train that he runs on his layout.
I'm going to put, in this you've got where you hook the sensor and you can hook several sensors in. So I'm going to put one on each end of my curve. I've got one area on my railroad it's a pretty tight curve.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the sensor on both ends.
that
So
would
it
be
kind of
cool,
makes
man.
it goes all the way around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
probably work.
It's pretty cool, and you can power it by track power, 9-volt battery, or they send a USB cable, and I'm just using one of these phone charger things here to power it now.
Oh, good for demonstration purposes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty nice. So that's their latest release, and I bet they're going to sell a bunch of them at RPM.
Your phone charger plugs into the device itself to power
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that thinking? Is that design thinking or what?
Yeah, well, it's got a place here you can put wires to if you want to connect it into your layout, or you can plug it in just like that, and
It's
that's
just
that's
one
how
of
I'm
those
powering it.
boards, right, Richard? It's just another circuit board, but it
Just a
does
circuit
magic,
board.
right?
Yeah.
And then what is this module? Is
that's
this
the
a
speaker.
speaker?
Mhm. And they're going to have it set up if you want to add your own rail squeal sound to it.
Got
You
it.
can use it on a micro SD card and set it up. But what they got sounds good to me. So
Yeah, it does.
That is way cool.
yeah.
All right, Daniel, how you been? What's going on? What have you been up to?
Work, eat, sleep, trains, repeat. Well, I mean, work is trains too, but but yeah, everything's going good so far. Just mean, when the summer kicking into full swing, though, I am part of the Wabash Frisco Pacific Live Steam, and actually I'm wearing a shirt Denny has created for me.
Nice.
I sent him a draft sample of a shirt with all the patches on it, and thank you again, Denny, for making this, and I actually got a second shirt for him, which is pretty cool. It just has the Wabash logo, and then my name just embroidered in here, and on the back it shows Train Crew. But I've been doing that every Sunday that I can, but a little bit of modeling on
Is
the
the
side.
word Train Crew stitched too? Let me see it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yep.
Let Richard see that. Thank you, Denny. Denny told us that he was making some shirts.
Have they been busy
They're
out
perfect.
there, Daniel? At the
Every
WSB?
Sunday, we have been like real busy, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, when October, the fall kicks in, that's when we get a lot of people because the weather is just so darn beautiful. It's a great time to go have an outdoor
Yeah.
train ride. And in fact, I got 2 more training runs under my belt. So now after I get my test taken and certification for a conductor out there, I will finally hop in the engineer's seat and take the
Wow.
throttle on one of the steam engines.
I know, right?
Awesome, man.
That's great.
Way to
Live
go.
steam power, but
Yeah.
Become one of us.
yeah, I know.
I mean, those are live steam, aren't they?
Yep,
I
live
mean,
steam
they're
powered.
Real steam
Yep,
engines, yeah.
yep. And people would ask now, how do these work? And I'd be like, what the steam engines used to be like. They said it's not full size. I was like, they're just
the same.
scaled down just a little bit
Yeah.
smaller, but they still work off live steam. And they would ask, the coal? I'd be like, nope, you can put anything. Kerosene, you can put oil, you can put propane in them. You know, it just depends on how the locomotive is specifically built.
What the ones you run? What do they run on?
They run off of jet fuel. Surprisingly,
Wow.
believe it or not, a couple of the
Yeah.
oil burners we got to
Dang.
run it on jet fuel, not just oil, because
That's
oil.
expensive, isn't it?
It is, but I think it's a little bit of a cleaner fuel mixture than it would be like kerosene or oil, because that technically
Yeah.
gives off so many fumes and stuff like
Jet
that.
fuel.
Yeah, jet fuel.
Right.
I mean, it's super clean. But now going on beyond that, and like I said, modeling, not much has happened with the layout. I've been just doing projects here and there, but got a spray booth acquired finally. I got Iowata Eclipse double action. So now, like I was talking about with all the gentlemen here, going to start weathering and maybe hopefully get to the point to where I can do prototype weathering, although detail's not really my, what do you want to call it?
Forte.
Forte. Thank you, Forte. I'm just, of course, with my full-time job being a locomotive mechanic, I like the functionality, making sure the locomotives work, run, DCC, and sound is all installed, etc. So, and that's also been keeping me busy and doing all the decoder installs and trying to figure out new stuff each and every day. And
Have
Yeah.
you done any Real Pro installs yet?
I haven't, but I got a friend of mine that probably will need to have some Rail Pro installs. But
Yeah, I may send you some my way too. Send your way too.
go ahead.
Yeah, and of course, Joseph, I'm not going to mention it, but he does get to play with Alcos in his real job.
I do, yes.
I'm not going to mention the railroad, but unless he wants to, but
I do work for the Arkansas and Missouri Railroad. I am a freight conductor full-time, and I run the Fort Smith turn from Springdale down to Fort Smith, Arkansas. I run the SD70 Aces. Well, don't run. Excuse me. I'm a conductor. My engineer runs the train. I just sit there and look pretty
Right.
until I have to switch everything out. But last couple of days, we ran the Springdale local, and so I worked. Excuse me. I got to remember that. My engineers are going to yell at me. I've worked with the Alcos, which they're fun.
Nice.
They're
Now,
fun.
what track is that on? Is
The old Frisco.
Okay,
The old Frisco from
Yeah.
Fort Smith all the way up to Monette, Missouri.
nice.
It used to be Burlington Northern, and then we took over in 1986.
Yeah.
125 miles.
well, beautiful scenery. Some of
Yes.
the most scenic
I
area.
bet.
Man.
I remember seeing cars back then decorated for Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri. Was a different one, or was that the same company with a
Different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And yours is just Arkansas, Missouri.
Yes.
So ALM is gone, I guess.
I'm not sure.
Louisiana. Unless they're still using the reporting marks for some kind of leasing thing.
That
or
was
something.
Arkansas, Louisiana, and Midland, wasn't it?
Maybe it might have been, but I have a prototype photo that I took. It said Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri in
Oh,
white
okay.
letters. And,
Okay.
Interesting,
And
yeah.
nice.
I got to see that. You got-
yeah.
Somebody
Yeah,
don't
if you have a
correct
photo.
us. Somebody don't write down here.
Yeah, just in the comments right there.
Right.
Bing.
Next
Yeah.
week, we've got some packages from Mini Prints. They have been adding up here on the
yeah.
property.
Okay.
We didn't
really?
bring them out tonight, but we will next week.
I talked
also
to
next go ahead.
Bernard out in Colorado. He was out there, and he's thinking about coming in Thursday before the RPM
Okay.
to talk.
That would
with
work.
you guys.
Next week, we've got Jeff Otto from Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply that's going to share some new products from his company. We also have Mike Zucker from Spring Creek Model Trains that's going to be on.
Cool.
To promote that upcoming show and talk about some new products that they've got. You know, these shops, they create exclusive products. And in fact, we've got some stuff from Lombard Hobbies for the What's Neat show, those new containers that just I received today.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of neat stuff going on in the hobby. But at the very moment, I'm going to start with Joey, and I'm going to give him the NCE.
Well, you mentioned Lombard hobbies. The funniest thing happened to me.
Yeah.
I ordered one of the new Aurora miniature box cars, and I ordered from Lombard, and I ordered the UCRY one. Well, I got a call and said, "Hey, Campbell, I'm just making a courtesy call here. I've got your order. Didn't you mean to order the Illinois Central one?"
Because they know.
So they know. I said, "Well, yes, I understand, but I did order the correct one." So
That was good of him checking up on you.
Just making sure. Hey,
Yeah.
Illinois
You know,
Central, what's up with this?
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe. People know me for that, and they're called to check up on me.
Are you going to be here for the RPM show?
Yes, I will be.
Good. Can you make the Rail Pro thing, the Amtrak train run outside?
I sure can.
Good. We can do that. Here's a throttle for inside for tonight because I want to see
I
that
don't know.
BNSF
Wow.
run.
Are you going to be up here, Joey, for the RPM?
I can try.
July 29th and
28th and 29th.
28th,
That's
29th.
Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
If they allow me to have off, sure.
Yeah, good, man.
This is the best hobby in the world, and as you can see, we've got some of the best people in it sitting right around me today. Like I said, the lineup for next week's show is good. Everything is just percolating along. Here's June. We're in it now. It's summertime, guys.
Yep. Tiny cop.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that said, let's go run some trains.
All right.
Okay, 26 minutes. Actually, 28. Let's do a thumbnail shot. Joey, you want to hold up something?
You hold up that beautiful model.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't drop it.
Oh, look.
By the way, that's needed decoder.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay, look
All right.
at Richard.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, we got that. Richard let Kamer one run for a minute 40 seconds.
Oh, man.
Thank you, guys. Good job, Joey.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
had it at.
Thank you
Hey,
for all
do
the
you
kind
remember-
words.
Do you remember? He just told me before we started that there was a show where there was a drummer and he was wearing the what's
The
these
socks.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's him.
That's
and
him.
That's the
That's
socks.
you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Should have put that on there.
Now a railroader.
It's on there. We're rolling credits with it. No kidding. That was you.
That was you.
Distinctly remember that.
Yes.
I even was like, holy crap. How does that happen, you know? We just saw just another viewer. And he's like, oh, no, that was me.
Awesome
Yeah.
world.
No, it's pretty cool, man.
Oh my god, I didn't see that coming. But that's good.
Yeah, it was.
Good job, gentlemen.
Enjoyed it. Yes, it was fun. Another great show.
fun. Yep.
We did it.
I did it again.
It's good to see you today. I'm really glad to see you come up the driveway.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's all with an Anthem Blue Box. You gotta worry.